Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Leandra, if we haven't met before, and I am the Education Strategy Lead at Infosys Foundation USA. Now, before coming to Infosys, I was an educator for 7 years, and then I entered EdTech for a while, and now I am at the foundation where our goal is to expand computer science education nationwide. So, today we are building a movie recognition chatbot using machine learning for kids and Scratch. Now, I'm not going to take the credit for coming up with this project. It's actually in the book Machine Learning for Kids. Highly recommend it. It has great projects that you can bring into your classroom. But I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this one live. So the thing about this project is I can click the buttons and finish the technical build in about 20 minutes or so. But a 20-minute build leaves your students with just a toy. But a 50-minute session, depending on how long your class period is, where we spend 30 minutes questioning, failing, and debating, leaves them with literacy. And that's what we want. That's what we're going for. So as we go through this, I want you to think about your classroom. Drop in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10, how magical do your students think AI is? And if you could go ahead and drop that in the chat, I would love to see the responses. I will call out a few of them. We'll see what the numbers are. From a scale of 1 to 10, how magical do your students think AI is? And based on that, we're going to go ahead with our project, but I am curious to know what you guys think. Ooh, interesting. Linda said, when it comes to images and videos, 9, and when it comes to using AI as the new Google, 2. Very nice. Thank you, Linda. Anyone else like to add? Okay, we're gonna go ahead. So before we open any tools, let's talk about what this project really teaches. So on the surface, it's about building a chatbot, but underneath, it's about decision making and responsibility. Now here's a question for you to consider, and you can drop it in the chat as well. If I buy a brand new AI model today and ask it, is The Lion King a comedy or a drama? What does it say? Now, this is a bit of a twist question. So, what do you think it would say? Anyone want to guess? It would say nothing. That's right. And that's the foundation of this entire lesson. The AI learns only what we choose to teach it. Now, this is where you might ask your students to make their first decision. What movies should we include? If you're teaching this, you could have students brainstorm movies before they ever touch the computer, because that decision will shape everything that follows. So let's go ahead and hop into machine learning for kids. And I'm going to share my screen here. And I went to machinelearningforkids.co.uk. And I'm going to click on Get Started. And then I'm going to try without registering. Try it now. We are not going to register. It takes a while to register, and it takes a while to register your students. So if you do this, you have 4 hours to use this program for free without registering, and that's usually plenty to get things done. Now I'm going to click Add a New Project, and I'm going to name it Movie Recognition or Recommendation App. The project type is recognizing text, and the storage is going to be in your web browser. And I am going to click on the project, and I'm going to click Train. And then I'm going to click Add New Label. So I want you guys to watch what I'm doing here, but I want you to watch, more importantly, what I'm not doing. So I am going to do 3 movies, and I'm going to add them as a label. Now, a label is basically a bucket of data where we will be putting all of our data in. So this label is going to be one of 3. The movies I'm doing are action, comedy, and romance. So the first movie is going to be Superman. The second movie is going to be Gigi. and the third movie is going to be Up. Now, what am I leaving out? Oh yes, Samantha, we can absolutely type all of the program websites in the chat. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll ask James to put it in there as well, just in case I missed anything. So sorry about that, everyone. It is in the chat now. All right, so you may be wondering, what am I leaving out here? Well, I am leaving out horror, documentary, animation, thriller. The model that we are teaching will never learn those categories because I never created them. And this is the first place where bias enters, not from the AI, but from the person setting it up, in this case, me. Now, here's where you might pause with your students and ask, are we teaching the computer about all movies or just the ones we personally know? Now, when it comes to adding training examples, descriptions, keywords, students will want to rush. They'll want to type 5 examples and hit train, but this is worth slowing down. Even though I'm only going to do 5 examples for each of them for the sake of time, usually it's best to do at least 10 or 12 examples to really train the AI. And you'll see why once we get to the end of this project. Now, if I only add superhero movies, what will the model learn? Superheroes. So it'll learn a narrow definition of movies, very incomplete. And this is often the first time students realize that bias doesn't require bad intentions. It can come from convenience, from what we happen to know, from what we like. All of these things can influence bias. Now, take a minute and think about your students. What examples might they naturally gravitate toward? And how might you push them to diversify their training data? Now, you can go ahead and type it in the chat. I see that some of you guys are in the chat. Great. And I'm going to go ahead and put some training data in here. So if you guys want to go ahead and answer that question while I put that info in the chat, while I put the data in our database, that would be great. So the question is, what examples might your students naturally gravitate toward, and how might you push them to diversify their training data? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add examples for Superman. Now, this is a recommendation app, so I want to tell it or use examples of things that a user might actually ask the AI when it's asking for a recommendation. So some of the things that I may be saying are, I love action films, and then the AI would give me a recommendation of Superman. Or I want a superhero film, and then it'll give me a recommendation there. Something intense, something heart racing, something exciting. So these are all words or data points that the AI can learn in order to start coming up with good recommendations when we ask it for specific things. All right, the next one is Gigi. It's romantic. It's a rom-com. So I'm also describing it with features that these movies actually have, so that when the user asks for similar movies, then the AI will be able to give it. And then the last one is Up, and I'm going to say it's funny. Uh-oh, typo. Let me redo that. It's a cartoon. It's touching. At least I thought it was touching. Relaxing. Sentimental. We can also say animated. Just like, you know, just these words so it understands. Okay, so we have our data here. So now we're going to the next thing. We are going to start training the model. And I'm going to click back to project right here, and I'm going to click learn and test in the middle. And now I'm going to click train new machine learning model. And while it's training, I want us to actually think about what's happening here. So the model is not understanding movies, it's not watching trailers or reading reviews, it's looking for patterns in the text and trying to separate those patterns into groups. You could tell students the AI is building a map. It's putting action words in one island and romance words on another. Training is just the computer drawing the water in between. So this training takes about a minute. It looks like it's trained. And I am going to go ahead and start testing it. So we can test it right here in this little box right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do funny. And so you could ask your students to predict, like if you say, tell them to pick an adjective and they say funny, you can ask them, what genre will the AI predict? And you have them vote. Let them debate. Let them get really committed to an answer before you test. And then go ahead and do the testing in front of them. So speaking of funny, I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. And look at the confidence. It's 100% confident. And the reason is because that's the exact word that we used in the training data. But what if I use something like comedy? Oh, by the way, it shows up if you can't see it. It recognized up with a 62% confidence. It recognizes that funny and comedy are related. And 62% confidence is more than 50%. It's a little low, but it's still pretty confident. So if the AI gets it wrong, which it will, don't rush to fix it. Pause. Let students sit with a surprise. They might say, the AI messed up. But that's when we as teachers can respond, or did we not teach it enough yet? This is the moment where AI stops being mysterious and starts being understandable. The model is reflecting exactly what we gave it. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, so let me test another one. A movie that adjective that could fit multiple genres. Let's see what it gives us. I'm going to do great, just a great movie. I just want a great movie. Let's see what it gives us. Oh, it gave us Gigi with 56% confidence. So the confidence score is really low and the AI is admitting the uncertainty. Now, you could point this out to students. You could tell them this number tells us the computer isn't sure. And that's valuable information, not a failure. Now, let's test a few more. We're going to do this one here, light. Okay, something light and airy, up. It shows up. Let's do love. Gigi again, 58% confidence. These confidence scores are really low, and the reason is because we only used 5 measly data points. If we gave it much more, an abundance of data points, the confidence score would be way higher. But for time's sake, we only did 5. And let's do one more, scary. And it's set up. You see that? That is an example of an action where the AI did not give us the correct response. I don't want to say it's a mistake or a failure. It just did not give us the correct response due to lack of training. So let's go ahead, and I want to put this question for you guys in the chat, and I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes on the clock to answer. So when the AI is uncertain, what should happen next? Should the chatbot admit it's unsure, or should it just give its best guess? Now, I want you to think about this carefully, because if it admits it's unsure, we may never get an actual response, just that it's unsure, and we may get that repeatedly. But if it gives us its best guess, we may get the wrong information. So what do you think is best? I want to see it in the chat. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes on the clock, and then we'll discuss it. I will read some of your answers there.
Hey, Leandra. You've actually been muted since we came back.
Oh no.
There we
Okay.
go. You're
So
good.
thank you so much, James. Okay, so I was saying we are in back in the chat and I would like to read what some of you guys said. I think they're really good responses. AI should ask clarifying questions to me. Very good, Imani. Another one was to ask for additional information, Dustin. Thank you. Jennifer said agree prompt for more details would be ideal. And Imani said, cite sources. They can give you the reasoning it used. Linda said, the AI would ask questions to me or give me recommendation for what information it needs. Very nice. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so I love that you said it should ask clarifying questions because you can actually ask AI to do that. You can tell it, please, if you are unsure about something, ask me more questions about it first. You can give that in the prompt and it will definitely do so just so that it can pull that information out and give you a better response. Okay, so before we improve anything, let's stop and analyze. And this is a critical teaching moment. Instead of immediately asking, how do we fix this? Ask students, what do you think the AI is confused about? What patterns might it be seeing or missing? Just like we saw that example of scary pop up and it was actually incorrect, it said up is not scary. We see these things that we can ask our students to really try to figure out what's going on here and really expand upon that. So they may notice things like the descriptive words for romance blur the lines between two categories, or that action movies and thrillers use similar language, or that we didn't give enough examples of one movie. These observations that some movies fit multiple categories is huge because now students aren't just teaching AI, they're questioning whether the categories themselves make sense. And that's higher order thinking. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and program in Scratch. We're going to go back to the project here and we're going to go into Make and we're going to go into Scratch 3. We're going to click Open in Scratch 3. And so we're not building intelligence here. You may want to tell this to your students. We're just designing a conversation. The AI gives us a prediction and Scratch just decides what happens next. And it's important for our students to understand that. If you've used Scratch before, you know the deal. But as I connect here, you'll notice that text goes in, a prediction comes out, and we decide how the chatbot responds. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start coding, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and enter some costumes here. I'm going to delete the second costume and I'm going to upload some costumes that I have here from my desktop. I'm going to go ahead and open those. And now I have all of my costumes here and I'm going to go ahead and change the names for them. So this was Gigi, Superman, and up. Okay, and we're gonna leave costume one as it is. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and start coding. We are going to code first, then we're going to test, and then we're going to do a little bit of iterations here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the when flag is clicked button. You may be very familiar with this if you've coded in Scratch. If not, it just means when I click this flag, something is going to happen. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do switch costume to, and I wanted to go to the first costume, the little bitty cat that's there. And then I'm going to have it ask a question. I want it to ask me a question. For example, what sort of films do you like? And then I want it to wait for an answer from me. Now I'm going to go ahead and make an if statement. And the if statement is going to recognize the text that we give it. Uh-oh. Ah, I forgot to put in an operator. That's what happens when you're coding live. So I'm going to put an operator there and it's going to say if this equals this. So if the text that we give it, if the computer recognizes this text to equal that we want, that we should have a Superman um, video movie, then something is going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and put Superman, and I'm going to put answer. So once again, if what I give the AI, it recognizes it as Superman, then it's going to give us a response. So I'm going to go ahead and click switch costume to Superman. And then it's going to tell me something. It's going to say, you should watch Superman. So these pieces of code are super simple, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And if you notice here, the movie recommendation app, it's actually pulling from the data that we used in machine learning for kids. So all of this is here based on the testing that we already did. And it has Superman, Gigi, Up, all of that's there, and it's already been trained. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm just gonna cheat here. I'm going to duplicate this code 2 more times, because we're basically doing the same thing. And instead of Superman, I'm going to change it to Gigi, and I'm going to change the text to Gigi, and I'm going to change the answer here, what it should say to Gigi. Then I'm going to do the same thing with Up, change that to Up, change that to Up, and change that to Up. And I'm going to check my work, because if I did this incorrectly, then it's not going to work. Okay. All right, this is very simple, easy peasy lemon squeezy. So now we're going to press the flag, and does somebody want to give me something that I should put in the chat for a certain film, for one of these films? And let's see how it answers. Go ahead and put it in the chat, and I will put it in our chatbot here. For a movie recommendation, do we want a sci-fi movie, which we don't have, we haven't trained it for, and we can see what it does there. A happy or sad ending? Let's see, happy ending. Gigi. And then sad ending. Love it. Up. Very good. This is interesting. Up did have a happy ending, but based on it being sentimental and touching, it thought that it would be a very sad ending, I suppose. But once again, it's all about training. Like, once we get more training data, it can do better. Let's see. What happens if I say something off the wall here, like hi? What does it give us? It gives us, you should watch Gigi. That's something completely off the wall. So instead, I wanted to tell us that it's unsure. Now I'm going to be coding this now. I haven't practiced this, so bear with me. Hopefully the code comes out correctly, but I think this would be a really good idea to bring to your students so that they can actually switch things around and really iterate upon what they've been learning and make a few changes here. Have another one from Amani. Kids as the lead character or superhero. Let's see what happens here, just for fun. Actually, that's pretty correct. Gigi is a kid, but Up would probably be more like it, right? And so all of this information has to be fed to the AI, since the AI is not actually watching these movies and understanding it. So let's go ahead and I have a question. Is there a show code button on the right side of the screen to reveal the Python code behind the scratch blocks? I am not sure, honestly. I know we do have a Python one where you could do the exact same thing in Python, and it's connected to machine learning for kids. It's actually pretty easy. If you go to make here and you go to Python, you can go and do the same project in Python. If you guys want me to do a Python version, let me know. I'll be happy to do it. Put it in the chat and we could do that next time. Okay, so let's iterate here. So, let's say that it's unsure. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an if-else block. And what I want is the confidence score. And I know that we have a confidence score block here. So I'm going to do an operator. So if this is, no, we're going to say greater than 50%. Let's see. If it recognizes the text confidence, the answer, the confidence level is greater than 50%, then we're going to go ahead and put that in there. Else, so it'll go through all of these, and then else we are going to say I am unsure. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna do something that it should just know. Yes, you should watch Gigi. Okay, exciting. Superman. Fun. Up. Now we're going to do something that it should be unsure about. Bye. Ah, you should watch Gigi. Let's see. Did it say it's unsure? Hi. I am unsure. Hi. What's going on? I am unsure. So if you give it answers that it's not familiar with, then you get an I am unsure. Let's see if there's any others that it wouldn't know. Genius. I am unsure. Fantastic. Let's see what it gives us. Gigi. I'm not sure why this confidence is so high for this, but let's go if it's greater than 70%. Let's try that. Ah, you should watch Up. I said enticing, and it said you should watch Up. Very nice. Amazing. I am unsure. So it has a lot of training to do, and that's what we want our kids to know. For the sake of time, we only did 5. Yes. Oh, Imani says you cannot get an actual job with Scratch. I agree. This is definitely great to just teach students how to, how coding works and the logic behind it, and I think that's great. And since this webinar is for K-12 and we have some teachers that teach littles, we definitely chose Scratch for this webinar. But for some with Python, we do have some webinars that we have done in the past with Python, and I would look forward to doing them again in the future for you guys since you guys have requested it. So that is going to be it for this webinar. So very simple, very easy chatbot. Very fun to do, great for the students, and we iterated, we made some improvements, and this is AI development. It very simplified, of course, but we observed a problem, we made an adjustment, and we're testing again. And this is what engineers do. They build, they test, they learn, adjust, and over and over. And so it's really a great thing for our students to be aware of. Now let's bring this all together. Back home, this project teaches students that AI systems are shaped by human choices at every step. They learn that data is a decision and that errors are informative. We learned a lot about confidence scores and things like that. That's very important. And AI is not something that just happens to them. It's something that they can question, shape, and improve. Thank you all for engaging today. I look forward to seeing you at our next webinar, and don't forget to spread the word to other educators. Now I have time for questions Also, we do have a lot of our webinars, all of them from the past, on Pathfinder's Online Institute. James will put a link in the chat. And if you would like a certification, some of them already have quizzes there. We're looking to add a few more where you can take a quiz and get your certification. So, by all means, if that's something that you're interested in, please go ahead and do so. I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.